All right, so for this one, this is number 8B. And for this one, it's the same thing as the previous one. We find out which one our base is. So this is our base because this is what's being put to the third power. So we're going to do the log of base 1/4. And then again, we go to the other side of the equal sign. That's going to be my big number here. 1/64 is equal to, and then we bring it back over here to the exponent of 3. Let me write it a lot here. So we've got log of 1/4 of 1/64 is equal to 3. All right, let's go ahead and go to number 9. Now this one, it wants us to solve them. Now in order for us to solve it, we want to look at our bases whenever we have exponents. Notice how our bases are exactly the same. That means that my exponents, we can put them equal to each other. So we will write it as 3x plus 5 is equal to x minus 2. And all you do from here is solve for x. So we're going to subtract x from both sides. This gives us 2x plus 5 equals -2. Then we want to subtract 5. We get 2x equals -7. Divide by 2, and x is equal to -7/2, or if you put it as a decimal, -3.5. Any questions? All right, let's go on to the next one. Now this is factoring using the difference of cubes. If you guys remember, to find the difference of cubes, we want to do the cubed root of each number. When we look at the cubed root of 8, let me write it separately. Hold on. All right, so we're going to do the cubed root of 8 times the cubed root of x, and then we want to do the cubed root of 27. The cubed root of 8 is 2, because 2 times 2 times 2 is 8, and the cubed root of x cubed, sorry, that's an x cubed, is x. So then this becomes my 8. Then when we do the cubed root of 27, the cubed root of 27 is 3, because 3 times 3 times 3 is 27. So now that we know what our A is and what our B is, then we follow this equation. So my A and my B. So first we're going to do 2x minus my B, which is 3. And then we move on to the next one. We've got A squared. So we've got 2x, and that whole thing is going to be squared, plus A times B. So we get my A, which is 2x, times my B, which is 3. And then we do plus my B squared, and my B is 3. So after we sub, and that 2x minus 3 just stays as 2x minus 3. Remember this 2x squared? That's like 2 squared times x squared, which gives us 4x squared. And then we have 6x plus 3 times 3 is 9. Any questions on that one? All right. Go ahead and go to the next one. The next one is factor by grouping. Remember, we group them by 2. So I'm going to first group these 2 and then group these 2. So from these 2 terms, do they have a number that they have in common? A factor of a number that they have in common? So we're looking at 2 and 7. 2 and 7, I'm sorry? So remember, a factor is numbers that multiply to get that number. So the factors of 2 are 1 and 2. The factors of 7 are 1 and 7. Do they have anything in common? What number do they have in common? This one, right? So then we have 1. And then if we have x cubed here and x squared here, they have x squared in common. So once you factor it out, you're basically dividing each term by x squared. And here we do 2 divided by 1 is 2. X cubed divided by x squared is x. Plus 7 divided by 1 is 7. X squared divided by x squared is 1. So that one stays like that. Now let's go on to the second group. Remember, we bring down that plus sign. And again, between 2x and 7, if we look at just the numbers, between 2 and 7, the greatest common factor is 1. And they don't have an x in common, so let's go ahead and just divide each one by 1. 2x divided by 1 is 2x. 7 divided by 1 is 7. We know we factored by grouping correctly because these two numbers are exactly the same. So we're going to factor those out. We get 2x plus 7, and that's basically dividing each one by 2x plus 7. So then these cancel. Divide this one by 2x plus 7. They cancel, so you end up with x squared plus 1. Now in this one, you can factor a little bit more. You can factor this one, but we didn't get to that in class, so you won't be required to do that on the test. All right, for the next one, we're going to divide using division, method of your choice. Because I like to work smarter, not harder, I'm going to use synthetic division. We want to get the divisor, or the dividend. I always get them confused. And we're going to find 0. So we're solving for x. And this becomes x is equal to 3. And what we're going to be writing are simply just the coefficients of each term. If we look at x to the third, our coefficient is 3. If we look at x to the second, our coefficient, right, so that's about, we add them together, we get positive 17. And then again, we multiply by 3. And we get, what do we get? 21, 5, 51. Did anybody do it already? Yes, it's 51. Awesome, thank you. And then we add them together and we get 8. So from here, we know that it will always be 1 under your initial degree. See how it's plus 17 plus 50 divided by my original number up here, x minus. Question so far? All right, let's go on to the next one. This one is telling us that we need to perform the indicated operation. Asking us to subtract the second group. So we're basically subtracting negative 1, it becomes a positive. And all we're going to do now is combine like terms. So over here, I'm going to rewrite this one on this side. Right, and now we just add negative 3x squared minus 15x plus 5. Any questions? Okay, let's look at the next one. The next one we are adding. So there's really nothing to change. So I'm going to do this one. Doesn't have a like term. I'm going to cross these off because I already wrote them down. And then we have a plus 3 over here. I'm going to move this one down. It has the biggest degree. And then there's no fourth power, but there is a second or a third. And then we can add these two, negative x plus 7. Any questions on that? Okay. Let's go on to the next one. The next one, we are multiplying 4 times negative 2x is negative 8x, and 4 times 3 is a positive 12. And now all we do is add plus x, or 1x, plus 12. Yes, not in the middle, when we're done. Questions on this one? All right, for this next one, it's exactly the same thing. You want to look at your constant. This one we're just adding. For letter E, let's go to the next one where we double distribute. Oof, where did it? With negative 1. So this becomes negative 1. And if we multiply positive 14 times negative 1, and then for the last step, we want to simplify. Questions so far? I believe there is time for, no, we'll just finish it. All right, last two. Whenever you have a variable squared plus a number, we just have two terms. We get x squared equals negative 81, and then we do the square root. These cancel each other out. And remember, we can't have a negative number inside, so we break that up into negative 1 times positive 81. This becomes 9. The square root of 81 is 9, and this negative square root of negative 1 becomes I. So x is equal to 9. And the last one. Whenever we're solving and it has a square root or a cubed root, we want to do the opposite or the inverse of the cubed root is to cube it. This cancels this, so we have 7x, and 3 to the third power is 27. Because 3 times 3 times 3 is 27. And then we divide by 7. And any questions? All right, that's